The leading coefficient test is something that we can use that tells us about the end behavior of the graph of a function. That's telling us what's happening toward the left end and also toward the right end. The graph is either going to go up on the ends or go down on the ends. Sometimes you hear that as rises or falls. And so essentially that determination is made based on the leading coefficient and also the degree of the polynomial. The degree is the highest power on the variables out of any of the terms. So in this case the degree is 4. That's the highest power on the x. And so our first distinction is made based on the degree and whether that is even or odd. So just write down the general leading coefficient test here. So if the degree is even, next we want to look at the leading coefficient, which is the number part attached to that variable term that has that highest power. So the leading coefficient is called that because we typically write polynomials starting with the highest power and counting down, and so it would be the number part on that very first term. So in this case our leading coefficient is 1. So that's the number part attached to the x to the 4th, the term with the highest power. So I'm going to call that leading coefficient LC. And so if our degree is even, we have two things that might happen with our leading coefficient. Our leading coefficient is either positive or it's negative. So if it's positive, what we have happening here is that our ends of the graph are going to behave like the ends of a parabola because we're looking at an even degree here. So if we can kind of visualize our most basic even degree would be x squared. That's a parabola. If my leading coefficient is positive, that means my parabola is going to open up. So both the left side and the right side are pointing up. They're going up. And so this would go up on the left and up on the right, or rises left and rises right. I'll go ahead and just write it as up, up. So up on the left and up on the right. Now if our leading coefficient is negative, because we're still looking at an even degree, we still can visualize a parabola. But a negative leading coefficient would mean our parabola would be facing down. And so both the left and right sides are going down. Now as we move up degrees like we have here, degree 4, there are different things that might be happening in the middle. So we're not saying that the graph of this particular function is a parabola, but that the ends are doing the same things as a parabola. And so our other option here for the degrees is that our degree might be odd. Now we still have the same two things that might happen with our leading coefficient. And so here we can start to think about or visualize maybe a common odd degree polynomial like x cubed. The graph of f of x equals x cubed is going down on the left and up on the right, or falls on the left and rises right. If we were to have a negative leading coefficient, that would just flip-flop. So a negative leading coefficient would cause a reflection, so we'd have up on the left and down on the right. So we basically need to identify which of the 4 categories our function falls into, and then that tells us about what happens on the ends of the graph of that function. So for our particular function here, our degree is even, it's 4, and our leading coefficient is 1, which is positive. And so we're looking at even positive, so it's up, up. It's up on the left and up on the right, or rises left and rises right.